We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I am Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, and we're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard, and skincare alchemy in the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire is to help amazing designers find great players who can love their games, and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but hands down, my favorite one is sitting down with the creators of games and playing them. And today we are doing just that. We're going to be playing The Company. Most of the month, we've added, if our games aren't horror games, because we're playing Cozy Town on Wednesday and it's an Animal Crossing style, super friendly GM-less game, we're injecting some spooky content into it. However, for this one, it is a game of corporate horror. Rather than having me tell you all about it, I'm going to let the designer of the game do that. Logan, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also tell us about The Company.
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Logan Dean. I am the co-creator and writer of The Company Corporate Survival Horror. The game is kind of based off of like Resident Evil, Jurassic Park, Half-Life, those types of survival horror games where you work for a company that doesn't care, but you got to get out alive. It was inspired by the HBO miniseries Chernobyl. Like, I was watching Chernobyl and it just kind of blew me away at how awful it would be to run a role-playing scenario out of that, and it kind of spawned out of there. So I'm on Twitter at L__Dean. You can also find The Company as well as our expansion, the conflict resolution guidelines, and some other games I made at itch.io/megacorpgames. That I make a whole bunch of stuff over there. We got a lot of cool content coming up for the game in October. We have a jam right now to celebrate the release of our expansion, and we're playing this, and we have a surprise release coming up too that I read is in to talk about a little bit. But yeah, there's some cool stuff coming out. Keep an eye on our weirdo stuff. We have a corporate account on Twitter called @thecompanyRPG where I do satirical capitalism critiques all the time. That's a fun time.
Awesome. I am super excited to play. Let's meet the other player, because we were doing the first ever, or at least your first ever two-player one
I
of
haven't
the game.
run this with two players. Yeah.
And that's El Jefe themselves. Jeff, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, all that good stuff.
What's up? I'm Jeff. I'm a mailman, poet, podcaster, writer, raconteur. You can find me on Facebook, Jeff Richardson, El Jefe Tacoma, Shattered Worlds RPG, The War for the Tower. Everything is awesome. And now, Foolish Wits, which is a comedy conversation with my podcast network partner, Rachel Onstad. It's tons of fun. So that's about it.
Love it. I'm super excited to dive in. We were, I think, done with character creation, but before we dive into who our characters are in the actual game, we always use a couple safety tools here on stream. First and foremost, we typically use lines, veils, and the X card if there's not another system that the game itself supplies or suggests. Lines are things that may happen in the world of our game but don't happen in our game. Veils are things that might happen in our game, but we handle them gently or specifically as we come up on them. The X card is the ability for anybody to say X at any point in time, pause the game, identify what the issue is. They don't have to explain what makes them, why they paused it, but they're also welcome to. Then we just move forward in a different direction once we've identified what the issue is. So we always have a strong line against sexual violence here on the channel, but are there any other lines or veils anyone wants to throw in?
Line, slavery, and veil. What did I say? Just graphic sex and violence. And we addressed the other one. We can leave it off the off the
air. Awesome. Perfect. Logan, anybody who's watching this now or later you might want to give some heads up on some of the content as far as things we might be worried about.
Yeah, I mean, this as a corporate survival horror in general, you're going to deal with themes of fear and violence against humans. I believe we have some body horror in this one, and isolation I think that's about it. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Cool.
It's underwater, so if that's a claustrophobia, tight spaces, those are also some keywords here.
Awesome.
Should I have got the swimming skill?
Uh-oh.
You didn't do that? Oh. Awesome. Well, with that said, Logan, I'm going to hand the game over to you while I look for a file we just discussed, and you can take us
I
into
sent
it.
it to you.
Oh, awesome. Even better.
Yeah. So in this game, you play as employees of a multinational mega corporation that just does not give a care about you. So in order, we have 3 characters that are going in on this mission. The company is Wuhan Baxter. They are a multinational conglomerate that owns a lot of facilities and resources all over the world. And when something goes wrong at those facilities, they dispatch a team from a division known as Asset Recovery and Containment, or ARC Division. All players in the company play employees of ARC Division, going and handling the aftermath of their employer's hubris. And this mission is no different. Our team is being dispatched to a facility in the South China Sea, just above. It is above the Tonga Trench in the middle of the ocean. They were woken up earlier today, thrown on a helicopter, and brought to a platform where they are being briefed hastily as they are being hustled into a pod. The door is slammed shut, and you can feel your ears popping as the pressure is adjusted, and the 3 of you are dropped down below, and above is a clock that just keeps descending.
Are we experienced professionals?
Each of you are experienced professionals, and you were picked for this job because you have expertise in underwater operations.
Okay,
means
cool.
You do have some proficiency in swimming and diving.
All right, so I'll make the the motion for like snorkeling or whatever. I'll be like, and then I give you a fist bump, Tony.
And
no, my character absolutely does not looks at your fist as if they have no idea why you're holding it out at all.
And I point at it like, boom, whatever.
And none of you have met before. As you're trying to fist bump, you'll this third figure is this large woman. She's very buff. She's kitted out in body armor, and she kind of guffaws at your attempt to befriend the scientist here. On her armor is a name tag that says Burke. And then next to it is the company logo, the big WB.
Cool. And does either Tony or I have our names on our outfits?
You should have ID cards.
Okay.
As employees of the company, you would have issued ID cards.
Are those like attached to our lapel or
I
around
feel
our
like
neck?
They could be either a lanyard or attached, but they're definitely secure. They're more secure than if you were going into an office building because you are in the field.
Okay, so we go on lanyards, Tony?
I think I've got a place that it's not a pocket protector, but it is absolutely an inserted spot in my vest that it goes in.
Okay, cool. I'll tap on it, and then I'll tap on mine. I'll be like, it says Nightingale.
And I just yeah.
And what does yours say again?
Mine says
Burke.
Yeah,
Burke.
And then mine says Dr. Cornelius Faultweiler.
Faultweiler. Cool.
Faultweiler.
And then I stop trying to engage with you and just meditate.
And after about 10 minutes, it's slow going. The screen is ticking up. One of the video screens kind of flashes across, and the director of the platform that you just left explains kind of what's going on and how below you're heading 20,000 feet down to a facility that is top secret. We don't talk about it a whole lot. But it's called the Eurydice facility. And every quarter, we send 4 scientists down there to do research for our pharmaceutical division, Nevaris. And they are supposed to come back up at the end of the quarter. And they did not come back up. And we are not able to get any contact with them. The computer seems to have been shut down. You'll be able to access it. It is in Sector 3. You'll be able to access it when you get down there. We need you to recover each. There are 4 scientists down here. Each one has a key that they wear. It tracks their movement, gives them access to the systems and computers, and acts as a research backup. We need you to recover all 4 of those keys if you can't recover the scientists that they're attached to. And then, you have about 7 hours. Otherwise, a storm is going to come through, and we won't be able to bring you back up for 5 hours. So if you can't get it done within 7, you're going to be stuck down there for a little bit.
Is the medical bay close to where we'll be arriving?
Yeah, the infirmary is also in Sector 3 with the main computer and surveillance systems, which we aren't able to access right now.
And that's abnormal.
Yeah, those should always be online. There are fail safes in place where that should still be online, which means that it was probably deliberately shut off, or there's been a complete system failure. But we're able to drop the pod down, and we're getting nominal energy readings from down there. So the emergency generators are still on. Life support seems to be functioning. We just can't access the systems.
If we can't get to the med bay right away, are there alternative sources of supply? Like, does life support have oxygen masks or?
You can. There are dive suits when you get down to the pod bay. When you dock, you'll find dive suits. Every sector is also accessible via utility corridor, which is a small 2-foot tube that goes beneath the crushing pressure of the ocean across. Those weren't meant for people to traverse, though, so it might be pretty stressful, and only one of you could do it at a time. And you definitely can't fit in there with the diving suits, because those are exosuits built for the pressure of deep sea diving. Those are a bit larger than your regular scuba suit.
So normal, get in, recover the research and the badges and maybe the people, and get out.
Yeah, your primary objective is to recover these keys. Secondary objectives are to rescue surviving scientists and collect any specimens you may find.
Yes, the scientists before the specimens, of course.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they put them both in the same sentence.
Yeah,
so it sounds like they're of equal value.
Those are secondary objectives.
What sort of injuries can I expect?
We don't know what happened.
So it could be decompression. It could be explosive injuries. Could be
we have not
monster.
detected any decompression in any of the chambers. Everything is intact. You can track the personnel keys from the computer in Sector 3, and there are intercoms between each sector that you can use to communicate with each other.
Okay. Oh, that was my other question. Do monsters exist in this universe, or is that like we wouldn't think of that?
I mean, you've heard some stuff. I mean, working with the company as long as you have at least enough to get assigned to this mission, you've heard a few things. You've seen some weird stuff, but
there might be a talking toward us. We'll find out.
If that's the weirdest thing that happens, you're probably okay.
Awesome.
And then the screen kind of goes back to the count, and it's slow as the pressure starts to build up, and you start to feel your lungs fill a little lighter as nitrogen is introduced into the oxygen mix. This helps to keep your lungs from completely imploding at the bottom of the ocean. So you get a little lightheaded at first, and you see kind of Burke, who refuses to sit. just kind of wobble in her stance a bit before righting herself, kind of nodding her head.
Burke, you all right?
And she nods and kind of grunts. And you notice for the first time she's got a huge scar from her ear all the way down, going under her armor.
Cool.
Yeah, and just like her head's completely shaved. She's cool. She's got like a black stripe across her eyes.
Hell yeah. In case we have too much sun down here.
Yeah, she's got a big like knife like just strapped on, but like you can't, she doesn't have a firearm, and it looks like she feels a little off without having like a big firearm.
You didn't bring any heat? They got anything down there?
They told me I couldn't, because if I fire a weapon down there, the whole place could just shrivel up. Yeah.
So your first order of business should probably be to find a tool that can operate down there.
And she pulls this knife from her body armor, and it's huge. It's like at least 11 inches. And she pulls it out and she goes, "That's all I need." She puts it there, she straps back in. And then she kind of like leans and like pretends to nod off a little bit as you coast the next half hour. It takes a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna look through whatever they've given us about just the research project, whatever they have given us.
It's heavily redacted.
Right. I'm looking through all the redacted files, doing guesswork on that, and just kind of trying to pull in clues for anything that stands out that I think might be helpful in locating where individuals are once we get in there.
What perk did you take?
The Mother of Invention, which is totally unhelpful to this task.
Okay. If you'd like, go ahead and make a research check.
All right.
And you want an 8 or above.
All of my dice are packed away somewhere. Hold on while I type in roll D10. I got an 8.
Nice. Yeah. You start to kind of piece together. You've seen enough of these files to know kind of how these are laid out. This is a typical pharmaceutical file. You can tell who's working which parts, and you're able to suss out who is working where. There are 4 primary scientists: Dr. Yang, Dr. Legati, Dr. Shively, and Dr. Astoria. From what you can tell, the main research is being conducted by Drs. Legati and Shively. Most of the pharmaceutical research is being done by Dr. Shively, where Dr. Legati is making notes and logs on marine life that they're pulling out of this trench. But you're not, everything specific is very heavily redacted.
The general sense is they're doing pharmaceutical research on animals or looking for naturally occurring chemicals within animals for pharmaceutical purposes.
Putting together like the dots, yes, like filling in the blanks, you're able to kind of figure that out. Right. You're seeing less transmissions from Dr. Yang and Dr. Astoria. Dr. Yang is the administrator in charge of operations and engineering, whereas Dr. Astoria is the field support specialist, their communications officer.
Cool.
But you're able to piece that together pretty quick. Just on the bureaucracy of how the company does their paperwork.
Right.
And then you start to slow down, and the pops in your ears start to fade, and you start to hear docking, as there's a sudden jolt in the pod, and you're lowered into this sector. It is full of water at first, as you hear the iris above you swing shut, and then the water level starts to lower and lower outside the pod as you see this room and these floodlights come on around. Thump, 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 thump. And then the pressure equalizes, and you hear the door kind of pop and slide open as you're entered into Sector 1 of the Eurydice facility. There is a welcome from the computer. Welcome to Eurydice, Sector 1. Enjoy your stay. And you see this circular room. There's lockers all around that hold these exoskeleton diving suits, as well as a red locker that you would know to hold like medical equipment, emergency first aid kits and stuff.
I'll check that one first.
Oh yeah, it's full. That medical cabinet's full. There's a first aid kit in there, as well as a defibrillator, like emergency defibrillator.
Okay, I'll start inventorying and testing that gear, and I'll encourage the others to test the diving suits.
Yeah, Burke will go over and check each suit. Each one's locked and secured. There are two doors, two bulkhead doors, one labeled 2 and one labeled 8. 2 going north and 8 going east.
Yeah, I go, oh, okay, and then I don't do anything. I don't do it at all.
Yeah, Burke takes some time, and as you're checking these, a good amount of time passes, and you spend about 20 minutes in here, making sure that all this equipment is secure.
Cool.
That whole time, do we hear any noises?
Other than like the pops and the groans of metal and plastic against like the immense pressure of the deep sea, you're not hearing too much. You hear the stale rasp of recycled air as it comes through these registers, the taste of paper and moisture from that life support that's tinged with that nitrogen, like plant food almost on your tongue. It's dank, it's wet. This room was recently completely filled with water, so there's a lot of dampness in here.
I as a player, I'm all of a sudden realizing something important. Hey, is the 30 minutes that it took us to get down after that included in the amount of time we needed to?
No, the descent is not included in your overall time.
Is the ascent included in our overall time?
No.
Okay. So we need to be back here.
You need to ascend within 7 hours of arrival.
Great. That's perfect. I just wanted to double check.
No, yeah, for sure. You're 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
So we're 20 minutes in. What does the scientist do while we're doing this boring stuff?
Supervises 100%.
Heck yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, there's 2 doors here. Burke will now go over. She knows the layout. 8 is storage. 2 is power and control. She'll immediately check the 2 door.
Yeah. I mean, that's the shortest route to get where we want to go. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think I've been like leaning back against the like next to the number 2 door, like waiting on Burke to finish up.
Yeah, and she checks all the dive suits. So everything's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to number 2.
Yeah, you open the 2 door. There's the bulkhead swings open, and there's a small corridor that you have to close the entire bulkhead, twist it completely shut, wait, and then the pressure equalizes and you're able to open the door into Sector 2. This sector is completely dark except for the lights from a number of server cabinets. They're all red. That's bringing this strange red light into this room, along with these low emergency lights above. As you enter, Burke pulls a flashlight.
Yeah, I pull my flashlight out also too.
And she immediately points it at the ladder going up to 2B, which is the life support module above. Faultweiler, your flashlight goes across the room to the bulkhead to 3. And in front of the bulkhead to 3 is a creature. It's kind of stops like a deer and looks at you. It doesn't seem to have more than 2 legs, but it's kind of like eel-like in its movement. And then it immediately tries to run to the utility corridor.
The utility corridor to the 3?
No, the utility corridor to 7. It
7.
tries to bolt across the room towards Burke.
And I
who
say,
has-
I yell, Burke, watch out.
And Burke turns her flashlight and kind of like backs up.
Roll.
And as she backs up, this thing slams into the utility grate, and just pushes itself through it completely. It's cut into a number of pieces that push itself completely through this utility grate and fall onto the ground, and then reassemble themselves, and then you hear them go thump, 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 down the utility grate. Everyone takes 2 stress as they watch this happen.
Fun times. How does stress work? Just not because we don't know, but for anybody else out there watching.
So as things get worse, you're going to be accumulating stress. You can give it to yourself to add rolls to, tasks that you need to complete, or you may receive it from external circumstances happening around you. Every now and then, I'm going to ask you to roll for burnout. And to roll for burnout, you have to roll against your current stress. If you roll under your current stress, you burn out. And you add that roll to the stress on the burnout table to see the effect. Our burnout table has a lot of terrible things on it, but the first few are okay. You kind of stress out to the point where you accidentally lock in, or you're better at doing your job. But as it gets worse, it gets bad.
Okay.
And stress adds up pretty fast. If you fail rolls, you can get stress. If you screw up around your teammates, that can give you your teammates stress. So you want to kind of pay attention to that.
Is there any way we mitigate stress?
Drugs.
Nice. All right.
You can take painkillers, but they're extremely addictive. They do mellow you out for stress, but they make it so that your physical rolls aren't as great and you're not as attentive.
Awesome. That seems abnormal.
Yeah. Burke's got her knife in one hand and the flashlight in the other. That's not.
Yeah, I'm still inside the airlock, and I'm like, my hand's not at the button, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm looking at the other two like, we ready for this?
I mean, 3's right on the other side of this. I'm sure we can just get in, get what we need, get out, no problem.
And Burke's gonna kind of nod and then say, yeah, except for this. And she's going to turn her flashlight back to that ladder she was looking at. And it's got blood going up to the life support control.
We need to secure that room.
Agreed. And she'll make her way up. And at the top, there's a keypad. And then the numbers 6, 0, and 3 have little bloody pink fingerprints on them. So she, boop, 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 figures it out pretty quick.
I just want to check the servers. Does it look like they're just they're powered off right now? Is that why they're red?
Yeah, they're on standby.
Okay.
Everything is still powered, but nothing is on. But it doesn't look like anything is destroyed in here.
Okay.
There is a strange substance all over the servers, though.
Oh, well, I would love to use my field research kit and gather some of that strange substance.
You kind of poke at it with one of those little tongue depressor things.
Yeah.
And it kind of retracts from you.
It retracts from me?
As you try to poke at it, it moves away from you. Take a stress as you see this liquid move away from you.
Sure.
You get it. You're able to kind of wrangle some of it into a cup. Yeah.
Once I get it into the cup, I want to test its reactivity in so you said it moved away from me. So if once it's in there, does it stop moving around?
It does.
If I move it close to some of the other fluid, does it start moving around again, or is it
It tries to get back towards the fluid. It tries to be back.
So within a certain range, if I hold it up, it basically tries to remerge. Okay.
Yeah.
I see this and I come over. Do any of us have something that can create heat, like a lighter or fire, like a flare, even a chemical light puts a little bit?
I mean, not significantly. I mean, the only thing that's going to generate a lot of external energy so far that we've seen is the paddles back there.
Yep.
Yeah. So
It's 20 minutes have passed.
yeah. I don't want to cycle back to get that thing.
I mean,
there's an infirmary right through the next, but I'll say I'd like to do some tests on that stuff. It's clearly biological, but I guess it can wait till we get to the infirmary.
it's going to take a minute for Burke to get up there, check everything out, and get back down.
That's when you hear Burke crack this seal on this life support module and open this door. And she kind of reports down like it's not a full room. It's kind of like you can get up to about mid height. And there's a large control panel with a keyhole in it. And in the keyhole is a key with a lanyard attached to it, covered in blood. And it's at the on position. And Burke looks at it and she pulls it out and it's got the name Astoria on it. And she pockets it and heads back down.
25% of the way there.
She says, it looks like Astoria tried to shut the life support down, but didn't make it.
Didn't make it.
She didn't do it, so.
Can we secure that door so nobody else can go in there behind us?
Yeah, it's all locked up.
Okay.
And I wiped off the fingerprints.
Why?
Oh, well, there were fingerprints on the digits that unlocked the door. It's an easy way to figure out what the combination is. It took me like 3 tries.
But you wiped off the evidence.
Well, I wiped it off so nobody else could get in there.
Or like if there's somebody else down here, they won't have a clue to be able to get up there.
Yeah, no, I get it. It makes sense. But in my head, I'm like...
I mean, if I wanted to kill us, I'd just turn the life support off. Just saying.
Look, we like I said, we're 25% of the way there. We should just keep on moving.
We do need to keep moving. It has been too much time.
All right, let's hit the ops.
So you go into operations, and this place is trashed. The infirmary, which is behind kind of like a rigid plastic barrier, has things thrown all around inside of it. There's blood and like this orange substance that's all over everything that you like. It's not as viscous as what you found in the previous room, but it's kind of smeared on stuff. The main computer sits on the other side of the room, on the west side of the room, and has a bank of monitors, 2 tiered. There's 18 of them, one with each sector on it, external and internal. All these monitors are off. The main control is got another big keyhole in it in order to access it.
You said the monitors are off?
Lights. Yeah, all the monitors are off. You're only seeing emergency lighting again in this room as well.
And were they using their lanyards as keys, or they were using specific keys, correct?
Yeah, each one has a specific key assigned to them.
Are there from near the airlock here, or hallway, whatever, are there any obvious weapons, tools that like a thing I could use as a spear or a net?
There's nothing in the room or in the airlock.
In the room, all throughout ops and the infirmary and stuff.
Yeah,
any obvious.
If you start looking through the wreckage in the infirmary, you can find like a scalpel.
Okay, I'll put on some gloves. I'll offer some to the others if they want to touch stuff.
There's a scalpel in here. There's a bunch of medical stuff that's been ripped through, used. There's the remains like plastic from gauze, old syringes, stuff like that. You're able to scavenge an entire complete med kit from all of the trash that's everywhere.
And is this like this is better than a field med kit? This has like testing gear and stuff?
There's some stuff. Yeah, you can get some testing stuff. Like if you want to do some blood testing, you could do that out here. Yeah, it's a little more comprehensive than a field med kit.
Cool.
Burke, can I see the key card you found?
Yeah, she'll hand you this key out of her pocket. It's still bloody, it's sticky with this blood.
That's fine. I wipe it off enough that the whatever passes for the coding part of the thing is clear, and I walk over and try to stick it into the key slot.
Yeah, I mean, if it's you're able to, it's a very large yellow, like industrial key. You flip it in, and then this green matrix monitor comes alive, and then it says, "Welcome back, Dr. Astoria," ding, and presents you with a menu. The menu has 1, 2, and 3 station status, 2 camera intercom, and then offline, and then a little thing that says personnel tracking offline, and then a 3 emergency controls restricted.
Awesome. I'm gonna tell them to me one more time.
1 station status, and then there's a little ping that says there's a little number 6 kind of blinking.
Okay.
There's a 2 cameras intercom offline, personnel tracking offline, 3 emergency controls restricted. And as you hear the rest of the computer boot up, all the lights come on, thunk, 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 as all of the lights, and then you hear a big hum, boom, and a rush of fresh air as all of the systems come back online.
Is that just here in this room or throughout the station?
You can feel the entire structure kind of physically vibrate for a second as everything kind of comes back online. Yeah. And then you hear a click, click, click coming from the intercom by the door.
Shut that off.
I'm gonna can I pull up you said the cameras are offline though?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to just pull up the menu and see if I can bring them back online.
Yeah, you hit 2 and it brings up the camera interface, and then you can hit them back online. Okay. Camera feed 1, normal. You see the pod bay you just left. Camera feed 2, normal. You see just a complete empty room, but now it's well lit, and you can see that the servers are flipping from red to green. Those lights are flipping over to green. 3, you see yourselves inside this room. 4 is, you think it's out. It's not static. It's just black. But in the far right corner, you can see a bit of light. And you can tell that the camera is just obscured. You're not sure how.
Okay.
5 is out. 6 is also black, but this looks like there's water within the lens. You can't really see anything. There's a lot of moisture. 7 is normal, and you can see shadows moving around, but not head on what is making them.
All right.
8 looks normal. You can see the Moonpay kind of hold on. You can see like oh no, 8 is down. Sorry, I'm thinking 9. 9 is normal. You can see this submarine suspended over a big pool, and then it's just a diving pool. There's a lot of diving equipment around, a lot of mechanical maintenance supplies and such, but 8 is just static. It's out.
Okay. But from what we know of the layout of this place, it seems like these are keyed to the actual locations in the building.
Yeah, each one is keyed to the sector that it's assigned to.
That's handy.
And then the external cameras are all functioning as well.
And they are just ocean.
Mostly they look at external parts of the structures. Every one is intact. There's just something strange about 6.
6, yeah. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and then flip back over and turn on, was it staff location, something like that?
Yeah, personnel tracking.
Personnel tracking.
Yeah. You are seeing Astoria pinging in your area.
Right.
And then you can see the little light on the key kind of blink, a little LED.
Right.
And then Yang is pinging in sector 4.
Okay.
Shively is pinging in sector 6. And Legati is pinging in sector 7.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Sector 7? That creature just went there.
I mean, yes.
Legati might be in danger. Can you contact number 7?
And you look at this kind of old intercom system, and it has a 1 through 9 on it with little lights. And you see that this click, click, click. Every time it hits through the intercom, the 7 lights up.
And it's normal. Shadows are moving.
You can see on the camera something is moving just out of the frame.
But no sign of Yang or Yang.
No, Yang is in 4, according to this.
This is Legati.
Game.
Oh, Legati.
Yeah, you can't see anybody.
Can you talk to Legati from that station?
I mean, the intercom's over there. At a point, right? Because it's by the door, correct?
It's right next to, the intercoms are next to the doors.
Yeah.
I guess I'll run over and be like, Yang, are you all right?
And you just hear, are you hitting 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hear this kind of like
Status.
Do I see any response on the screen while this is happening?
Yeah, this shadow stops moving. And now it's like stationary. And you can tell now, like, the angle is you're looking down a hallway, and on the left-hand side are a number of doors, which you've now identified as this dormitory. And on the right-hand side is like a galley kitchen. And just around the corner from what you can see on the camera, it looks like is the entrance into Sector 9.
Okay.
And that's where this shadow is. It looks like it's at the door to Sector 9.
Well, look.
Diving pool. This might be Yang trying to escape out the diving pool.
It could be. We have 2 options really at this point. We can go to 4, which
Legati.
is right through that airlock, and check out. I think was that Sylvie something.
Yang is in 4. Shively's in 6.
Shively. Shively is in 6. And said Yang's key is pinging on the other side of that, but the camera is mostly down. 7 is up, and we could go around and go through 8 in storage and see if there's anything there that might be helpful.
It has been 1 hour.
And if we need to, and we can see if there's anything useful and check on Legati.
Oh, can I do a medicine check to guess if he's still humanish? Like, if he's been turned into one of these things, I don't want to rush to his aid.
Sure. Well, how do you want to try to determine that?
Just like listening to his groans
Medically.
and moans and whatnot.
It does sound like someone in pain, as if someone's been hurt. Yeah, but you can't tell if they're not if they're no longer human. You can give me a check to see about some of these stains on the floor.
So I have 2 medicine.
Yeah, you can roll 2 dice.
No dice. Got 2.
Yeah, it just looks like somebody was dragging a lot of blood around in here.
Does that affect us at all, or is that more high stakes, obvious rolls that affect my stress level?
No, yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Did you find another? Did you find a defibrillator in here?
Oh, right. Is there a defibrillator or something else that can make heat?
No, there is no intact equipment other than what you've already found. Everything else, there's like a refrigerator that's all smashed, and like a bed that's been flipped over. It looks like there was a struggle here at one point.
What about a Bunsen burner or heating plate?
Not in here, but you know that 4 and 5 are
Those would be the labs.
laboratories, so you could probably find something like that in there.
So here's the thing. I could either go back, get the paddles, use a strip of magnesium or something to heat up the guck, or we could just go to the laboratory. That we'll find something there.
I mean, I'm somewhat inclined to go back and go through 8. It's staticky, but it's not dark, and come back around the long way to 4.
Yeah.
And Burke will be like, can't go through 8.
Why not?
Bulkhead sealed. And she'll reveal that she noticed that 8 had been welded shut from the other side.
Is there a utility corridor?
There's always a utility corridor.
There sure is.
Shit. Shoot.
We've got to go through the utility corridors one at a time. You know what? Let's go through this well-crafted maze, the obvious direction.
Okay, so if I followed the Tombs monster through the utility corridor 7, is there a quick, easy way to double back to 8 from there? Or do I have to go like way into 7 and work my way back around?
So the only way into 7 from 2 is through the corridor. You can go, there's a utility corridor and a regular corridor that goes into 8.
Yeah, but there's also the creature that slithered through the grate into 7 via that tube.
Right.
There's also that.
I said at this point, if Burke noticed that 8 is sealed off, I think it's worth, let's hit 4 and come back around. I don't feel like it's necessary for anybody to go it alone at this point in time.
Oh,
and Burke would agree, like not to split up.
Is there one of those things that you put an IV on by a bed, or you can walk it around with wheels or whatever?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's one of those.
So let me unscrew the top so it's just a rod, and I'll carry that around with me.
Okay. Yeah.
A good poke and stick.
Yeah, with the legs on the other side, so if it has some.
The other set of controls was restricted, correct?
Yes. There is a station control, like a security control, that is restricted.
I'm gonna just check that out real quick.
Okay. It says restricted.
I mean, does it bring up a password prompt?
It's like station administrator required.
Okay. So I need another key or some other sort of input.
You need another key, or you would need to attempt a hack.
Which one is the administrator?
Yang.
Yeah.
Yang.
I'm not good at hacking, but I've been around enough of the company's computers at this point in time to have a general sense of maybe a couple back doors. Let's try that. I am unskilled at this, so it'll be a band down regardless of what I get. But why not?
You can also take a stress to add a die to the roll as well. It's like really concentrate.
I didn't not succeed. I rolled a 5.
Okay. Well, that's not your forte, so nobody's going to judge you for it. You do not notice anything happening there. Like you just kind of ping, and then after a second, it politely sends you back to the main screen.
Right.
And now you notice that the emergency control option is not available. It's kind of grayed out at the bottom.
Okay. So now we got to go find that. That key if we want to be able to do anything with that.
Can I have an aware roll from each of you?
And we each have an awareness number. I have an awareness of 1. Is that how many dice I'm rolling?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I rolled 2 1s.
Wow. You don't notice anything at all.
That's not great.
I rolled a 9.
You do notice, just out of the corner of your eye, as you're preparing to leave this sector, that the camera feed from 9 is on a loop.
Camera feed from 9 is on a loop.
Is that the one with the diving pool?
Yes.
Is it only the 4 scientists down here?
It's only the 4 scientists down here.
From what I know about their backgrounds and their given roles, if I was going to guess who was most skilled at computer work, who would I guess?
Astoria. She's the
Astoria.
communications op.
Okay. I'll just tuck that information away in the back of my head.
Okay. Do you take the
so-
key?
I am assuming that if I take this key out, that the lights are going to come down again.
No, you've set it up so that everything's back
Okay.
and functioning.
Then yes, I'm absolutely going to take the key.
Yeah, you can take the key and everything will continue to function.
Awesome. Then yes, take the key with us.
Great.
We could turn the intercom off.
The intercom, I mean, it seems like it was an older and separate system.
No, it's controlled via the computer as well.
Is it?
I don't know why I think we should. That's paranoid.
We
If
don't
we
have
got split up.
we don't have
wanna
any
use
other
it.
way to communicate. Yeah, I don't think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Cool.
I'm just afraid some monster is gonna scare us through it.
I don't know what they teach you in medical school, but I'm a real doctor. We're leaving that intercom on.
An hour and 20 minutes have passed.
We're gonna have ask Burke to take point. Going.
And she'll furrow and like pull her knife and be like, okay. Be like, it seems like you know what you're doing, and she'll point at the scientist.
So we are going back to the pod bay to get the paddles.
I thought we were going to 4.
I thought we were going to 4
forward.
also too.
Okay, let's go to 4.
You enter 4. This is covered in blood everywhere. There's so much blood and paper all over the place. Everyone entering takes 1 stress. As you realize that there is a body in the middle of this room, it's been torn open, and binders of paper and research have been shoved into it. You see that it's kind of like laid out and kind of like spread, and there's a key hanging from its neck.
I will get around it and tell the others to stay back, and I will see if this person is salvageable.
Yeah, you check out this person. It's very for all intents and purposes, you believe this should be a corpse. But as you check their wrists, you can feel something moving inside under the skin. Take 1 stress from this.
Are there any diving suits or HVAC suits or whatever in this lab?
There aren't any in here. You kind of take a quick glance around and see that there's an injection gun on the counter, as well as a research terminal that's been covered in blood. There's also a banged up cabinet in the corner, and then this body. And now you have a stress as this thing is dead.
Is the
like,
cabinet
alive.
large enough to secure this body?
It would have been if it wasn't like crushed in. It looks as if it's a large enough cabinet, but that something has hit it so hard that it's kind of buckled over.
I'm assuming the research that's been stuffed into the body is covered in blood and not readable.
You could try, but it will take a while to kind of piece it together. It's just paper covered in now this blood.
Yeah.
That's mixed with now this like orange substance again.
It seems like the research terminal is going to be a better option. So I'm going to walk over and wipe off the screen and the keyboard with the edge of my sleeve and try to connect.
Yeah, this does not have a key. It asks for a password.
Try 603.
But it says this is a standard computer password.
Yeah, it's just somebody's password. It's Legatti's terminal, so it'll need a password.
I don't know that I know enough information about Legatti to divine that. And I don't know that we would assume it to be the same password that was used above, because that was a different scientist.
Dr. Nightingale, you will be able to retrieve Yank's key from this body. It is there.
Okay. Regarding Legatti, did I get any background info on these guys? anything?
Everything
I
that was
can-
shared, unredacted, was kind of shared with you beforehand.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat to know on this one.
Yeah, I'm assuming nothing in the redacted files like their childhood pet was blank
No,
and they grew up
They
on
didn't.
the
They didn't give
street.
you their psych
I
profiles.
I just want to search real quick and see if they did, because even smart scientists oftentimes will write down non-essential information nearby,
Sure.
and just see if there is a password nearby.
There isn't, but you think you can. This isn't a particularly advanced computer.
Okay.
And you think you might be able to just brute force your way in using research.
Okay. I can do that. I'm gonna take an extra die on this. Does that mean I take a stress automatically, or what? How does that work?
Yes, you would. If you're doing an intellectual roll, you just add a stress.
All right. So I have is it always 8? Is that what I'm always trying to roll over, or what am I trying?
Yeah, 8 and 9 are a success. 10 is a critical success, which would let you remove stress.
I have a success.
Great. This will open up all of the research for download. You'll be able to access all the research archives that have been collected. If you wanted to decrypt them, it would take 4 hours.
And I would need to be here while I'm doing that.
You would need to do it manually, but you can download the research and take it with you right now.
We will download the research.
Is there any way to look at the most recent summary or working notes?
That's all encrypted, so you would have to decrypt the entire research in order to get into that information. But
Gotcha.
you're able to get it and rip it, which is part of your one of your secondary. Yep, it's one of your secondary objectives. Is
Yeah.
recovering the research.
Okay, so I'll
Yes,
pull out
secondary.
I'll pull out a specimen bag, pull out the key, drop it in, and then set it aside. And then I'm gonna scalpel around the research notes and try to pull them out and see if anything stands out just right away that might, because obviously that's pretty personal to shove notes inside a guy. Maybe there's something recent that might help me.
It's a lot of old notes from binders. You'll notice there's tons of these binders around. It's a lot of like procedures and like OSHA requirements and like like
So
company.
it's random.
It's all random stuff. You can tell that they haven't been writing in these notebooks. These are all like generated reports, soil sample, drone diagnostics, history of the region, topographic maps, all sorts of stuff, but nothing personal. Like there's nothing that people have been working on. It's just all reference material.
The binders that all this stuff came from, does it look like there were any that weren't touched or that obvious are missing?
It's you can't really tell just because of the mess. And like as you're looking around now, you see that the camera is just covered in blood, which is why it was obscured from the other room. But it just looks like something came through here and just wrecked the place.
Okay. Nobody touched the blood or the goo or the body. There might be a new life form inside the body. I'd like to secure it, but obviously there's no way to do that.
As you look up, and I'm like my arm is covered in someone else's blood.
You want to, and Burke will be like, "You want to secure the body?"
Well, there's some life form wriggling around inside it.
And she'll like look around and pick it up, and like put it on this specimen table. And I don't know. Do we have something we can tie it here with?
Yeah, we'll look around.
Let's say what kind of laboratory is it?
It's like, so this one I believe is a specimen lab. That is the primary lab. So there's like a dissection table in here. It's not an inspection table. The other lab is for specimens. This is where you would do like dissection research and make compounds.
So
there's
the kind of stuff
table.
in here is the stuff that's already not moving typically.
Right. So she kind of sets this body here and then kind of looks around and is able to find enough, some zip ties.
Zip ties will work.
She zip ties the feet together and then she zip ties the hands together. She's like,
All right. Are
Something.
there any straps we can tie the whole mess down?
While this is downloading and they're doing this, I want to look at that injector also too.
yeah, it's an injection gun. Next to it is a broken vial that had some sort of liquid in it that's been mixed with the blood. But in the injector is a single vial of green liquid. You have no idea what it is. It's marked like X7T4. And then you can see below that there was like a whole tray of these that have just been like wrecked.
Let's pull that vial out of there and stash it. I'll keep it on my person or something.
No, I'm good.
Then you're gonna keep it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, and then I'll load up a bottle with the painkillers and drop that in there.
Okay.
It might help if we have to try to dose one of these critters.
It has been 2 hours.
I look at the thing you put in the specimen bag. I'm like, why did you put it in the specimen bag?
The key.
I want to make sure we contact that substance as little as possible.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to use that key.
Oh, sure, but I mean in between.
Okay.
Just keep your gloves on. Don't touch your mouth. Standard procedures.
All right. Well, look, we've got 5 on the other side of this door. 6 looks like it may be flooded.
We got ping in 6 though. We got to go to 6.
Well, I understand that. I'm saying I think it may be underwater.
Yeah. I mean, we could get some suits from 9.
Yeah.
So here's my concern. Legati or someone with their key is like at the door to 9. They might it might be Legati hurt, or it might be something bad trying to lure us down there.
Right. We'll have this conversation while we're opening the airlock to.
Yeah. Do you want to go to 5?
To 5.
Okay.
Work.
Yeah, this airlock is actually a fork. Halfway through, there's a 90-degree turn to the right, to a bulkhead labeled 7.
Okay.
Now, what's wrong with the camera in this room?
In what? Which one?
There's no room here.
In 5.
In 5, nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's just a
5 is
wreck.
well, 5 was fine. 4 was the one that was covered in blood that
Gooey.
we couldn't tell.
Yeah. Got it.
I mean, I'd say we know that there's. I mean, if you want to go to 7 quickly, we can. I don't know that we're ready for that yet, though.
Can we open 6? Is there a way to cycle the water out of 6?
We don't know if it's flooded yet. We got to check.
It's-
There was something wrong with 6, though.
Are the seals completely closed down? Sorry, the airlocks. There's not a window in them.
No. The computer would have told us if it was unviable. It does seem like there's a communication error with 6, but that the life support's still flowing into there.
Oh, which would have been different if it was flooded.
If it was flooded or compromised, we would know.
There'd be less oxygen and stuff. All right, let's do it.
We just don't know. 5 is fine, except there are a number of specimen cages that are broken. It looks as if these specimens escaped from the cages. Otherwise, there's some stuff kind of like spread about, but these cages are messed up, and there's some of this orange yellow substance on everything again. There is a blood sample refrigerator that is open. There's a bunch of dated samples in there, and then there are some samples labeled Legati on them. And then there's another dented cabinet, but it has countermeasure written on it. And then there's a notebook kind of in a smear of viscera on one of these examination tables, and that has a big S kind of indented into the leather on it.
Could any of these cages be repaired?
No, not to your not without
quickly.
significant engineering skill or a toolkit to do so.
No, go ahead.
Let's put all the samples in a box.
Yeah, there's a bunch of blood samples. Mostly they're from Legati. They start with like they're all kind of weird. They're not red or black. They're kind of more of this like orange.
Yeah,
substance.
I want to look at the notebook that was next to all the samples real quick.
Yeah, it's Shively's research notebook. And there's some. The last few entries are pretty hurried. They're kind of noting it's gonna take a minute. Ding, 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 ding. They're noting that they found some specimens in the trench via the drones that were exhibiting some accelerated evolution, and that they were trying to extract these cells from them. That was on November 2nd. On November 5th, Shively notes that Legati was bit by one of these specimens, that he treated them, and that Shively then injected himself with the virus to see what would come from it. And then he left a vaccine on a lab counter in Sector 4. And then there's some scrawled formula in the margins that, if you wanted to research it, you might be able to figure out what all this is.
I 100% want to research that.
It's a difficult research role, so I need 2 successes.
Does this, looking over his shoulder, does this look like anything to me?
No. I mean, you'll notice that he says that he made a vaccine and he left it in an injection gun in Sector 4.
Right, which, I have an injection gun and a vial of unknown substance. And then
Right.
there's a smash vial of unknown substance next to that. So who knows? But how many times can when I push it, I'm just basically, if I fail, I'm taking stress as I push it. Is that correct?
Did you fail already?
No, I've not done anything yet.
So if it's a research role, I believe that's part of your deal.
Yeah, I haven't done anything yet. I'm trying to figure out what my options mechanically are right now.
So yeah, you'll take the stress out of the failure. If you push and fail again, you'll double the stakes. So you could succeed, you get another chance, but if you fail, you'll take double the stress.
I'm not adding die. I'm basically rolling one at a time, taking additional stress as I do it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
So if you're rolling the pool, and then if you want to push again, you'll roll the entire pool again.
Yeah, I've only got one right now. So
so you'll roll the die. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could add science to this as well.
I can add science to this as well. Okay, so that's a success. That's 2 successes.
That's it. Yeah. This is a formula for the vaccine that he concocted. You think using the equipment that you saw in Sector 4, you could maybe get another sample of this vaccine made in a couple of hours?
I might be able to do it in a couple hours, but I also might have taken the ability Mother of Invention also too as my perk. Right. And so, it's up to you if that can easily work for
Yeah,
this,
absolutely. That's what it's for.
So
yeah, if you needed to make another vaccine, you could do it in 20 minutes.
Cool.
Okay.
So I can make this vaccine.
But you do need the blood and the equipment in Sector 4.
Yeah. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to do, not too long, but if there's anything else y'all want to do while that, or we can keep on going.
Burke is going to go over to the countermeasure cabinet.
I was about to
wrench it open, and she pulls out a tranquilizer rifle, and it's got 2 darts left. Cool. And she loads them in.
Is there any way to tell what's in the tranquilizer?
It looks like elephant tranquilizer.
Just take a little taste.
Do you want some?
No, I just wanted to know kind of if it was unusual, it would give us some hint as to what sort of thing we're shooting.
It's like a heavy dose of ketamine, I think.
Yeah,
just
but
like
it'll put an elephant down, which is unusual. You don't find a lot of elephants underwater.
No,
which is
rare.
interesting why they would have it down here.
Yeah.
Try to put down a whale.
So, yeah, Burke, be ready for action. This thing could be big.
I'm always ready for action.
Wait. In this lab, is there any way to create heat? Any burners?
This is a specimen lab, so no.
The compound lab would have that kind of equipment.
The lab we were just in would have had that, but you didn't see anything. Like, all that stuff was kind of beat up.
Yeah.
And there is definitely no gas line down here.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'd secure that stuff pretty well.
There's no stray fire, or
they'd probably be electric heat.
Yeah.
Underwater, and so because they wouldn't want to burn off the oxygen, or risk,
especially with the amount of nitrogen that's in it.
Yeah, and so it feels like, based on what I saw in 4 and what I'm looking around and seeing, that I'm going to need backup supplies if I want to make more of this sample.
Right.
Okay.
You're going to at least need a blood sample, and I think you can. It seems like you can synthesize it just from the blood sample. You just need the equipment.
I mean, are these blood samples in front of me no longer viable?
The Logati sample should work.
Okay.
There's maybe one that's viable though.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I would need. Would I still need other equipment, or did it look like the other room had what I needed in it? Still?
Yeah, it's all in there.
Okay.
You don't need it to like scavenge anything else.
Okay, cool.
Can I get a whatever the amount of blood is when you get a draw and give that to him as well as a comparison?
You want to pull your own blood?
Yeah.
Yeah,
in case it has a different reaction.
Sure, yeah, you can give yourself a little pull, like just quick, like pull some blood and hand it over.
Cool. So I guess we're kind of working together on this little test, right, to make a vaccine.
Sure.
I mean, we can. I'm gonna look at you and just be like, I've got this.
I got nothing better to do. I mean, unless you want me to split up and go find.
I mean, if y'all want to go back and grab the paddles real quick while I do this, if you want, like anything else you want to do, that's fine. I mean, I can take care of it.
It's not a quick trip. The amount of time it takes to cycle these airlocks is not insignificant. If you were going to go back all the way to 1 and come back to here, it would take about 15 minutes.
Right, but it's going to take me 20.
Okay. Yeah. I'll look at Burke. Like, should you come with me or stay here with the doc?
And she'll be like, why are we going anywhere? Like, we have 2 keys. There's one on the other side of this door, and then we just have to go find one more, and we could blow this place. We got like what, 4 hours left?
I've already started working while this exchange is going on.
I mean, if we want to split up, I might as well just go into 6 and grab this key.
All right. You go work on the vaccine. Burke and I'll go get Shively.
Yeah, go to 6. 6 is great.
All right.
I don't want to go in there.
Good luck, bud.
Yeah, if we go into 6, okay. This is just we open this bulkhead, and there's just a immense wave of heat that kind of comes out at us, followed by this like mildew. It's kind of like a bucket of like compost, just this wet decomposition. In the middle of the room is this hanging mass. It's kind of pink, yellowish, viscous. The emergency lights around are kind of lighting it in this strange aura. And you can tell at the bottom that there are these egg-like sacs kind of spread around it. As we enter these sacs, these small eggs start to kind of throb, and we can tell that there are umbilicals kind of connected to this central mass in the middle. And as our eyes adjust to the heat and the light, you can tell that that central mass is actually encasing a person inside of it that's slowly being drained. And then we're seeing now that there's a little blinking light in there around where their neck would be.
Yeah, I slammed the door to shut 6 away from us.
And Burke's like, what the heck? Yeah, we both take 3 stress looking at that. And Burke kind of nods and it's like, yeah, okay. How do you want to do this? We got to go in there.
That is an unknown biological entity that clearly can capture a human. I don't think it's a good idea to just engage it unless we know how to kill it.
We're both going to roll for burnout on this one.
Fork. I have a 6 stress, so I have to roll above that.
Under.
On a D10.
Oh, you have to roll above it to succeed. I rolled an 8 for 6 stress.
Yeah, I got an 8. I'm good.
Nice. All right. So we're both able to keep our composure. Like, okay, yes, that's an unknown biological structure. Sure. But we got to get that key if we want to get out of here and get paid. And I don't know. It seems like that person might still be alive.
Hey, I know how to do my job. All right. I have a weird idea, and
Okay.
I open the door back and I play my harmonica.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How do we want to do that? Okay, yeah. You kind of like play like do you play a song or like a tone or?
Yes, I play the C, the root note, like long and low.
And as you keep it held, you see these pulsing sacs kind of like hold the pulse in tone, like to match the pitch, and you can tell that you've kind of pacified them with this. Strangely, like they're responsive to this tone.
Then I will play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah, and then they start to kind of like pulse slower, and like you can, and then the body in the egg sac kind of descends a little bit, and everything just kind of seems to diffuse.
I'll say, cut him out.
Yeah, okay. And Burke will go and like pull her big knife out and just start to cut. And she pulls after a minute. It's been 3 hours. After a minute, she pulls this body out. This man, who's kind of got the remains of some clothing, no hair left on the body anywhere, and kind of like pulls it out. She immediately grabs the key and like just yanks it off the neck and pockets it, and then she brings this body over to you. She's pulling umbilicals from the sides out of the throat. She's like, he seems alive.
All right, get him in the airlock. We'll go back to the infirmary.
Yeah, and she'll carry this.
Or no, let's just go back to the lab number 4 that dude's working in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll bring another body to the scientist.
Was there any obvious loot or weapons in drone control?
No, just it's all covered in slime and eggs.
Okay. I'm not looking through that stuff.
And we make it back to Dr. Foulweather, and like you're sitting here with this other corpse working on this.
It's not the first time.
Working on this synthesis, and we bring this body in.
Like y'all come in, I'm having a conversation with the corpse, like vaguely.
And then we have this.
I will use my field medical kit to try to revive this gentleman or this person.
Does it look like Shively, other than the lack of hair and nudity?
Yeah, from the crew picture, it looks like it. And I'll give you this key as well.
Cool. So how'd it go?
Weird.
Music affects them. I was able to pacify it with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
That did happen. Yeah.
It was just a hunch, you know.
Interesting.
It being
works.
biological. And also you can talk to plants. They say that helps.
Go ahead and make a medicine roll.
Can I add first aid to this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I get 3. Can I use some stress?
Yep.
Gonna add a stress. Got it.
All right. It's good. You're able to stabilize this man.
Oh, wait. My thing, don't die on me.
Don't die on me.
Lets me immediately stabilize somebody. So this would be, do I need to make that roll or?
And you don't need to make that roll.
Okay, good. So I can.
But you do have to say it. Don't you die on me.
Right. You get it without a penalty.
Shively.
So yeah, you're able to stabilize him, but he's not coherent. Just out.
Okay, so this is where I'll try to improve him. So then I made that roll, get the stress. Does that help at all?
It doesn't. Yeah, you're not able to get through. His eyes are open. He's awake, but he's just not there.
Why don't you draw a little blood?
Yeah, I'll draw a little blood.
And the blood you draw is orange. It's bright orange.
Yuck.
And as you draw it, you can see this chest area start to kind of crack open.
Like it's gonna kill him way?
Yeah, like his actual chest cavity is starting to open up. And there's like a red glow within.
Toss me that vaccination. Or like dose this guy with it. And I will get across the room and start playing the blues on my harmonica.
Do I have 20 minutes to have had the actual vaccination?
Well, you had a vial of Vax in the.
I understand that. That's not the question I asked.
Yes, in the time you've been able to synthesize 1 dose of vaccination.
Do they look the same?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, I'll use the vaccination I made.
Sure. You want to hit this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are able to. You hit him, and it goes in, and there's a violent reaction. And you can see a lot of different things happening as like skin pulls against bone, and things start to change within this now creature, and slumps over dead. But it doesn't look like he is changing anymore.
Just as I hoped.
I'm going to give us all a stress for that, and I'm going to ask us to roll a burnout because that's a pretty intense situation to see.
From my research.
Great. Wonderful. Hi, burnout.
Hey, I made it.
That's not good.
I have to go to the restroom. I'll be right back.
That's fine. Is it add or over? Or is it
add or over? Add or over.
Let me look at my stress number. I had less than y'all, so I'm fine.
I burn out, and now I take 2 stress when y'all fail your job rolls.
I think this is the intended result, or do I think this is because there was something else going on?
The intended result of the vaccine?
Yeah. Like normally a vaccine, the intended result is not kill the patient. It's stop the reaction.
Well, it did work. Right. It did stop the infection.
So my logical leap would be this guy was too far gone, and this killed him because he was more of this than he was of. It's not going to cause somebody who's been transformed or hurt or carved out or whatever this thing does to reverse. It's a poison for them, basically.
Yeah, it's more of an anathema than it is like a cure. It's a vaccine in the sense that if you're not infected, you won't be. But it's made to kill the virus, and the virus is on a macro level. Great.
So it's a vaccine. Cool. I'm gonna take that other the other shot. I'm going to stick it right in my arm.
Yes, you've now inoculated yourself to whatever this was. And you're going to feel pretty weird for the remainder of this.
That's great.
And I'm going to let you know how that works
That's
out.
awesome.
At some
I'm super excited to figure out what kind of weird I got going on.
point. It's going to be not...
Science!
And we're all alive still. Nobody's infected. It has been 3 hours and 20 minutes. We have one key. And Burke is kind of coming apart a little bit. She's just a little on edge.
Okay.
Can we look around, like in this lab, now that I've been in here for a little while and working around? I don't necessarily want to take the time right now. If I needed to concoct other, like if I wanted to concoct a mood stabilizer or just something that would put Burke off the edge, would that be something I could do if I wanted to take the time to do it?
Yeah, it would take you a while though.
That's fine.
Probably a couple of hours.
Just making sure.
Your mother of invention.
Yeah, my other question is mother of invention of once per
session.
Okay, that's fine. I still feel like that was the right time to use it.
Yeah, you
I
both
will
used your once per session.
I'm gonna just hand my trident to Burke and then take the tranquilizer gun away from her.
No, absolutely not. She's gonna. You're gonna have to give me a body roll to try.
Oh no, I don't want to force her. I just
I bet to say I don't know that I'm on board with that.
No, she'll absolutely be clinging to it. Like, no, this is the only thing keeping me here. Okay.
All right.
Are the
and in
Hold it
fact,
together.
she will think about it for a second, and she'll hand it to you, and then she will reach under her vest and pull out a handgun that she had stowed and be like, you know what? This is a good idea.
oof,
I would like to attempt counseling. What would that be?
Yeah, you could try to guile her into calming down. I think that
Oh,
might
I
help.
will lie to her and say, now you've been trained really well for missions like this. And the truth is that this is part of your training. And one of the things I was sent to do is to watch my teammates' behaviors and report back. And so I'd like to report that you are able in these type of situations to keep your cool. And this station is incredibly fragile. And if you use that weapon, there's a 95% chance we will all be sucked out into the ocean.
Oh, I think it's actually like 98, but yeah. Yes, and she'll nod and be like, yeah, but this is giving me a lot more comfort than that. And she'll point at the tranquilizer gun and be like,
sure.
and you said I'm a professional. I won't use it until I absolutely have to. And I'm a crack shot.
Okay, good.
So the darts for the tranquilizer gun, just out of curiosity, are they similar to the vials, or how hard would it be to switch some of the tranks over to the vials?
Would you believe they're exactly the same?
Cool.
Heck yeah.
Could I get the second one of those trank darts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna stick that in the injection vial now.
Nice.
Yeah, they're interchangeable. Why not?
Yeah.
So I'll
for that way.
I'll
We actually
encourage
bought
Burke
universal darts, and we just fill them on our own
Yeah.
using the big refill bottles.
It's just big vials of elephant ketamine.
We buy big vats of tranquilizer. We refill the darts.
That's
it's
right.
more economical.
Right. It's like those big things of dish
Yeah.
soap that you
Right.
yeah.
We get Costco ketamine.
Yeah.
Kirkland signature ketamine.
Can I encourage Burke to take the clip out of the handgun?
Absolutely not. She's like, no, it's fine. We just need to hurry up.
Hey, here's the thing. Yeah, we're 3/4 of the way done. Like we're doing great.
And we're almost at hour 4 now. Yeah, she's
Okay.
like, listen, when it comes down to it, you're gonna be glad I have this, okay?
Yeah, so
Okay.
let's talk about what happens next, because we're not going back to 6. I'm glad it wasn't underwater, but I don't know that
Might
was
as well
better.
have been.
Yeah, maybe it should be. We know that there is someone or something in the next room. We saw what just happened here on the table. We should be prepared for what comes next. Based on what we saw, they were positioned near the door, and that is near the intro to 9. So they were across the room from where we are going to be coming in.
Yeah.
Yes, they're on the opposite side.
Right.
Have we managed to see any maps of 7?
You can get a layout from the CCTV. When you enter, on the left are 4 doors down a corridor, and on the right is like a little kitchen galley area with a little pantry, and then an entrance into the 8 corridor to storage. At the end of that is the main corridor, is around the corner is the entrance to 9. So it's just in a blind spot from the camera.
Of course.
Yeah, why not?
But we do have a general sense of the location that they were in before we came this direction.
Yeah, this is where the crew lives. This is where all their houses, like their dorms and bathroom is, and then like the kitchen.
And we had poison for them, but I don't know what happened to it. So, are y'all ready to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you and Burke down the Y hallway, and I'm gonna go through the utility corridor. So in
Okay.
case we need to flank
Okay.
this creature, we can have 2 spots.
Okay. Just FYI, I am pretty sure those 2 things come out right next to each other.
Yeah, if you go from the utility corridor from 4, it'll just come in next to the door.
I mean, secretly, just for the viewers, I get it, but I'm hoping the monster will attack them too.
Got it.
And I'll be hidden in the corridor.
It's 2 stress to take the corridor.
Oh no, I can't do.
No. You're committed. Go ahead.
If you wanted to commit to
Come
it.
on, audience.
Is
Yeah,
there
you
any
can-
way to lower my stress?
Yeah, you just crack open that tranquilizer dart and
You
take a little sip.
you can self-medicate, or you can roll better. Because
Roll better?
crits take off stress.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't do anything for that.
You
So
get a 10%
yeah.
chance that every roll will.
let me take a painkiller. How much does that lower it?
That will knock you down. You can remove 3 stress.
Down to 7.
And you're taking a -1 to all your rolls for
boy.
1d10 hours.
Holy shit. That's awesome.
Okay.
Which does that mean he can't crit anymore, or crits still be crits?
He can't crit anymore. Because
Interesting.
any crit would be a 9.
Interesting.
Because you can't roll an 11. And then if you use painkillers again, this will stack. So you will have a -2 if you use it again, -3 if you use it again. So you have did you roll a d10 for that?
For
Just for the duration.
Seeing how long you're at that -1 for.
oh, I got a 9.
So for the rest, for the rest of the mission, you're
Is
at
there a
a
-1 on that roll?
no, not on that one. Yeah, so now your stress is you're feeling good, but not good
Yeah.
enough to kind of operate heavy machinery.
Right. I might have trouble with my impulse control. I'll be itching my nose a lot.
So glad.
And
you
in
have
the
that
time
tank
it
on
takes
now.
us to boost you into that vent, and like for you to pop those spells, 4 hours have passed.
Jeez. All right,
And Burke will take point on this and be like, "Are you good? You want to go? You want to go up there?"
I got your 6.
Oh yeah, and you're fine
I'm fine.
from something.
I'm not an alien. That's what I'm not.
She will sneak around, and she doesn't do well on that. She takes a stress and is not being very stealthy. As she enters this area.
You're being very loud.
Yeah, well, trying. Luckily, this thing doesn't seem to notice. You both get into this area. There's about a pots and pans kind of strewn around in the galley, and you hear this like banging against this door on the far end. And now you can kind of see a figure. It's gone. It wears kind of tattered lab coat. It's and it looks like a person. It's just banging on this door, trying to get into the door.
And this is not what we saw before. Whatever.
Yeah, this is now you're seeing it at a completely different angle. You can actually see this thing head on, and it's just banging.
Okay.
From my hidey hole, can I shoot that guy?
Yeah, you can try. You can get the barrel of this tranq gun out, and then you can go ahead and use a fight to.
I'm gonna, while it's distracted, try to move over towards like the kitchen area of the galley and like slide down behind the countertop.
Yeah, sure. Give it a sneak.
Believe it or not, this is my #1 skill. Oh, hey, I got a crit. I got 3 successes.
Oh, you do it so like smooth that it actually comforts you a bit, and you're able to remove a stress. Like, I'm so good at sneaking. That's what I'm good at. That's what I brought to the table.
Some people get ahead at science by sciencing. I get ahead at science by being really sneaky.
Being sneaky and stealing other people's research. Yeah, you're able to sneak through.
And Burke, does Burke take cover as well?
Burke does not. Burke is now slowly moving towards this thing.
Okay, I go.
And
I aim to like take a little while to get a better shot?
You can take up to a few seconds. Like, you can. There's no impetus to like. This thing hasn't seen us.
Okay, cool. So I will take the shot.
And you have 1 dart, right?
I got a 3. Is there any way to improve it?
There isn't. You can't actually push combat.
Because you can't try.
Oh, I can give up health.
No, not for a combat roll. That's the only exception. Because you can't put a little extra effort into a bullet. I'm so sorry.
Darn it.
You know how much of my blood, sweat, and tears are on those bullets?
Maybe he'll think it was a that thing where you shoot above the ship to get him to stop doing what they're doing.
I do. Give me a roll. Evens, it's high. Odds, it's low.
4.
And you see this dart ping off the bulkhead right above this thing's head. And it kind of stops and takes a second to register what just happened, and then slowly kind of like jerkily turns around. And what you see now is the frame of a person. Its head is cocked back. A long black tentacle comes out of where the mouth should be. In the center of the chest is a glowing red eye where these tendrils have kind of spilled out and are now wrapped around the arms and legs. And you can see these tendrils twitch and pull in order to pilot this body down the hallway slowly. Seeing this, everyone takes 2 stress and rolls for burnout.
What if some of us were hiding behind the counter and therefore not looking at it?
If you have not seen this, you are okay.
Good.
But when you see this, it's going to be terrible.
Hopefully they'll take care of it before that becomes a problem.
My stress is 10, so I
need a 10 as well. Oh, didn't get it.
I have a 2, so that's a 12, which is another. Oh man, I'm at 3 stress when y'all fail. That's not good. What did you roll there?
I rolled a 7.
And you were at 10?
Yeah. No, I was at 9.
You were at 9. Okay, then you are going to take 10 stress.
10 stress?
Yeah, it's 1d10.
So you're
stress.
freaking out.
And you rolled a 10 on your...
I rolled a 10.
Crime.
So you did nothing happens yet, but you just took a big load of stress for missing that shot. But you're still hidden. So this thing has spotted Burke And Burke will. Burke has a second to think, and she will take this shot
With the handgun?
With the handgun.
Oh.
Okay, Burke's in a totally clear mental state right now. I'm sure we have nothing to worry about.
She gets a fight, she gets a combat, and she gets 2 for the gun. So that's 4. And Burke hits, which causes this thing to, you hear a crack as she pulls the trigger after lining it up, and she hits direct right in this thing's neck, or at least the human part of the neck. And it takes a good chunk of damage. And it kind of staggers back. And it starts bleeding. Oh man, does she do it? And that shot knocks the key off from around its neck. So that falls to the ground. And now this thing is now like spurting viscera from its neck. And it's now whipping this tentacle at Burke, who takes a big hit.
Wait, how long is this tentacle?
Has it come across the room?
Yeah, it comes across the room at her as it like is whipped, and then it like goes.
So I do want to say
I'm
this.
hiding.
So my point of being halfway across was 100% so I could do this, and I'll take the 2 stress if you want me to when I pop out. But as soon as it passes me, I want to try to pop out and hit it with the trank in my injector thing.
Yeah, as soon as you see this thing, you take this 2 stress and roll for burnout because of the just sheer monstrosity of it.
And to use that, you have to run right up on it, correct?
But I moved halfway behind the guy. Like I'm waiting for it to pass me. So when it gets past me, I'm like stepping out and like jabbing this thing.
You should be fine.
You should be fine.
I don't know what I roll for that.
I
mean, I passed my burnout check.
You're trying to hit it with this. You passed your burnout check. Congratulations. You can roll body. You can roll fight. You can roll sneak.
Sneak is great. Do I get a bonus for the injector gun itself or anything? Is it?
Yeah, I'll give you 1 for the injector gun.
Cool. And that means I got 1, 2, 3. I have 2 successes.
Nice. Yeah, that'll hit it. It'll take a second, but it staggers, and then it falls straight down. And then you see these kind of these tendrils start to wither up and like turn to dust as the entire body kind of deflates. And this goo leaks out of it.
From being tranked?
Yeah. Oh, you hit it with the trank. Yeah, it knocks out if it's not continuously moving. For some reason, I thought you hit it with a vaccine.
No, we have used the 2 vaccines that I had.
Yeah, it's knocked down. The light in this big eye in its chest kind of goes out, and then but it's still gushing from its like neck. And then Burke took a pretty big hit, and you can see that like she's kind of like grabbing her arm where she was lacerated from this whip attack.
Is this like
Burke?
Is this like bright orange blood?
No, she's spurting regular blood.
No.
It's not like
from the creature on the ground that she shot in the neck.
Yeah, it's like that Mountain Dew live wire blood.
Cool.
I screamed for Burke to get the key.
And yeah, she kind of like
no, Burke, sit down.
and she's like tied it off and like moving over to get this key down.
I'm gonna collect some of that blood because you gotta.
Sure.
Who has the other 2 keys? Is that the scientist here?
Y'all have. I have 2 of the keys. You have 1 of the keys.
We just picked one up.
We just picked one up.
That's 4.
So I'll say, everybody throw me your keys, and I'm like over where you were hiding.
Why do you need our keys?
Yeah, why don't we just go?
Well, we should all have like I should hold on to him.
Why?
Why?
Because I'm the ranking member on this team.
That doesn't track at all.
I don't know.
I'm in command.
You are not in command.
I'm gonna try to persuade them that I am a higher level agent for the company, and they need to follow my rules. A guile check, I would imagine.
Yeah, sure.
uh Damn it. That's a 7.
I'm gonna say it's a 7.
It
Was
would have been
mine-
an 8, but for my burnout.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, take the stress for the failure. And we're both just gonna be like, no, let's go.
If you want to
All
give
right.
us your keys, you can. If you want them all in one place, we'll gladly take care of that for you.
It's been 5 hours.
Yeah.
Look, so my only concern is that there's still one body unaccounted for. I'm not super concerned about finding that body.
Me neither. Let's go.
Yeah, and as you say this, you hear like a banging from the other side of the 9 door.
Screw it. Let's get out of here.
Now I'll like we hear it on the other side of the airlock.
Yeah, someone's banging on the door. And then as you're kind of talking about it, you see that the wheels start to turn.
No, let's get out of here.
No, I'm gonna wait and see what happens.
Yeah, the wheel turns, and then
You can say
I'm
that.
going-
I don't say that out loud. I just don't move.
yeah, and
I'm going back through the utility corridor.
And Burkle, you're going back through the utility corridor.
Yeah,
That's another 2 stress.
that's fine. I'm at 20. 22 now.
I'm pretty high up there too. Yeah, this woman.
What have
falls
y'all
out.
been doing?
Burning out. Burnout paradise. This woman falls out of the airlock. She's got bandages all over her head, on her arms, and she's like, wait, hold on. You did you kill him? Did you kill him? Is
Not
he
yet.
dead?
Not yet.
We gotta get out of here. We gotta go. We gotta go. Are you here? Are you from the company? Are you here to rescue me?
And this is what is it? No,
It's Astoria.
Astoria.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you can see into the moon pool. She's left this airlock open, and you can hear the strain that it's causing on the life support system. But it looks like from beyond, she's been trying to like rig this sub to ascend to the surface. But she doesn't have the parts.
Cool. Did you say she's wounded?
Yeah, very much so.
What color is her blood?
Her color blood on the bandages, it's red.
Great answer. So, okay. Yeah, let's go.
And she's like, yeah, okay, great. Dr. Nightingale is going through the corridor back to 4. Yes?
Yeah, I'm working my way all the way back to the pod bay as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. I need you to make an aware roll when you enter 4.
Missed it.
You don't notice. All right, you make your way into. You're gunning it.
Yeah. I'm leaving everyone.
I crank down the door to 9 to stave off the building pressure at least.
And then you see those things again from before, from 2, crawling out of the moon pool, like now attempting to make their way to you, and like
Excellent.
you slam the door. And Burke's like, let's go, let's get the fuck out of here. And you gun it in, you make it to 4, and the Yang body is gone. Nightingale didn't notice because he was running, but the 2
Yang's the one we zip tied, correct?
Yeah.
Yang's when we zip tied that had research shoved in them.
Yeah, and you'll see that there's these zip ties that are now like broken on the sides, and it's just gone.
Excellent. I want to, as we get past, I want to take, I believe it's Yang's key. And access that last menu real quick.
Yeah, you will get access to the emergency lockdown protocols. This will lock down any of the utility corridors or doors.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, I mean, every single one that's not directly on our path to get out of here is getting locked down. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need to take the time to do all of them, just all the ones that, like, so
Okay.
utility to 7, like
Mhm.
utility from 2, utility from
Yeah,
8. You know,
you make a nice little path to get you out safely, and you end up. Miguel gets into the pod bay,
And then I close the hatch and somehow lock it or queer it somehow so they can't get through it.
what the hell? Yeah. They you want to lock them out of the sector or out of the pod?
Out of the pod bay, out of the whole
Out of the whole
dome.
sector. Yeah. You can't completely lock the door, just because the nature of it, but you can like try to jam it.
I want to jam it.
Yeah, you jam it. It's jammed up. You left and Burke will look at the scientist and say, "Did you leave this corridor open? This utility corridor?"
Yeah.
And she'll just heave up and throw herself through. She'll take the stress. Oh man, that's bad. And she'll roll for burnout. Ooh, that's bad. That's 22.
While we're waiting there, I do want to take a closer, subtle look at I keep on wanting Astoria.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a better read without directly demanding a blood draw at this point in time of their actual wounds and other stuff like that. To the point of like, I'll be like, let me give you a quick once over because they have no idea who the hell I am.
Yeah. Do you have any medicine?
I don't, but I mean, I'm a scientist, so I'm actually.
She looks like she hasn't slept in a few days. She hasn't eaten. She's got lacerations all up and down her face and arms.
Those lacerations are like any sort of fresh moving blood is what I am most.
There is not anything fresh moving, and it doesn't look like she has any like gaping wounds. Like she doesn't have any like traumatic wounds. Just like it looks like it's just like she's covered a lot of stuff up.
Cool.
But as far as you can tell, she doesn't seem to be.
Sure. In my ineptitude, I'm going to force one of those scrapes back open.
Okay. And she'll be like, "What the hell? What the hell?"
Oh, sorry, just an accident.
Yeah, and it'll bleed. Give me an aware or a search.
I guess those are the same thing. So, I rolled a 10.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you can tell she's like, it's kind of orangey. Nightingale, as you're backing away from locking this door, you hear a bunch of crunching behind the pod as this large 4-armed kind of creature lifts itself above the pod and kind of stares down at you. It's got a gaping cavity with a huge like eye in it, and you can tell now that this was once the body of Dr. Yang, but it is now has its sights on you, and it goes in to try and attack you. You can dodge it, or you can try to fight it back.
Yes. Can I get to one of the diving suits?
Yeah, they take about 5 minutes to put on because they're. But the pod door is open.
So I could get into the pod. Okay, I'll get in. How long does the pod take to get started and going?
The pod, once you initiate, it'll take a couple of minutes to like flood the room and then initiate the ascent.
Okay, I'll try to jump in and get it going.
And that's when Burke will come through the corridor and drop down, and pull the whatever you've jammed into that door out, so that these other two can get in.
As I'm like starting to spin the door, like hearing that clang, I just say, "How long?"
And she looks at you like, "What are you talking about?"
How long since one of them hurt you?
And then she'll kind of like sigh, and then her entire mouth will just open completely up, and then attempt to like get you.
Get yar.
Just try to like take a chunk. You can try and dodge, or to push her off with a fight or a dodge.
What does dodge look like? Is that a ability I should have but don't? I suck at both. I suck at both of those things.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah, he rolled a 2.
She rolls a 9. So she'll take a nice chunk out of your arm for 2 damage.
Did she do this before or after I open the door?
As you're opening the door, and like you're kind of trying to like shove her off, and she takes a big chunk out, and then like just wails as you come into this room where Burke is now turning around and pulling a gun on this corpse spider creature as our medic is jumping and trying to escape in the pod.
She's gone.
And like Burke will be like, she's right there, and then kind of register like what you're saying and be like, okay, well, we gotta go.
As she's dripping blood off of my blood off of her mouth.
And I'll yell Nightingale. She'll yell Nightingale, and then I'll point the gun at the wall. And I'll be like, if you close that door, I'm gonna just end us all.
If I have the pod closed, could I survive that?
You can't survive this thing crushing around you. Open the door.
Do I have a weapon?
You gave me your trident thing.
You got an empty trank gun.
And this thing...
I will open the hatch and play my harmonica. Fly to the bumblebees.
And
Fly to the bumblebee? Yeah.
This Yang puppeteer starts to kind of wobble as like the sound washes over it. And Burke will kind of like wave the scientist by and be like, go, go. And then like shove these keys into your hand.
And where is Burke as she shoves her keys into my hand?
She's shoving the keys into
my
Fallweather's hand and be like, "Go, get out of here. I'll keep them back. Go, you guys gotta go."
So Burke is sacrificing herself?
It would seem so.
I'm gonna go.
Get in, go, and then like.
Wait, before he gets in, I'll say, were you hurt?
I mean, it's not stopping me either way.
I'm closing the door. If you got hurt, can I see an obvious injury?
I mean, he just had a chunk bitten out of him. Yeah.
I'm gonna close that door and just sit tight in the pod. I'm gonna push Burke's hand, I guess.
But yeah, Burke is she's in between the pod and the bulkhead door, just trying to like fend off anything that's happening. She's like, you guys got to get out of here. You got to go.
Yeah, I'm just looking at you through the glass, waiting for the water to fill up or whatever.
And Burke will just now like try to shoot at the pod then. And
I mean, I also didn't close the door behind us, so I doubt this thing would fill up.
Right. Yeah, there's a bunch of safety protocols.
All right.
When you close the door without the music playing, the big puppeteer starts rocking the pod again. This Astoria infected person is now coming in, and Burke's like, figure it out, like launch or go, or I don't care. You guys got to get something out of here.
How do we launch? Do we have to, like Tony said, close that door?
Yeah, we need to close the door.
Okay, I open the door a peek and I go, close the outer door.
Get in. Can you grab it?
You do it.
Me? I'll do it.
No, I'm talking to Nightingale.
Fine. I jump out and run over and
get in the pod. Get in the pod.
But we have to close the outer door, correct?
Yeah, I just want Fallweather to get in the pod while you're out of it.
Yeah. So I slam the door.
I get in the pod and close the door.
I have all 4 keys.
You don't have all 4 keys.
No, I gave my keys to Fallweather. I think you have 1 key.
You have a key.
Wait, I have 1 in the specimen bag and the other one that I got from Burke.
But that you had given to me.
Wait, I gave
Burke
you the specimen
Burke didn't
one?
give you a key. Burke gave me a key.
I gave him a key.
I have 3 keys. You have 1 key.
You haven't been very trustworthy.
Yeah. But I am initiating the protocols to fill up the room.
And then Burke will just start like taking shots at these things.
I am banging on the pod with my med kit. Open up! God damn it, open up!
You're not a team player. Burke will just like shake her head and be like, "This is how it goes." And then these big red klaxons will start going off.
I will try to kill Burke with my scalpel.
Oh yeah, please do.
Or just cut her on the hand or wrist or whatever so I can get that gun.
I'm gonna try and dodge this. There's a 8. So I have a 6.
No, I got a 2.
And she'll knock out of the way and then just be like, "Come on, what's that gonna do? Let's." And then she'll take a shot at this big thing that's trying to attack us.
She's like sidestepping your swipes and fighting the other thing.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, it hits this yang thing. And then now the water is starting to fill up the room. And the pressure is starting to get off. And Burke is just like, "It's done. It's over." And after a minute, the whole room will be flooded up. And then
wait.
start to ascend.
So wait, if I was able to get the gun from Burke, would I be able to shoot the pod?
You could try, yeah.
So I want to try that again.
Okay.
Got a 4.
2 successes. But she's just like, "What are you doing?"
We're gonna die.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Burke's gonna shoot you, and she's gonna crit to hit 3 times for 3 damage.
Which this is my last chance.
Oh, the medics have 4 health. Dang it.
Last chance. Stabby, stabby. 10!
But you're a 9 because you can't roll a 10 because you have -1 to your rolls.
A 9.
Yeah, she'll miss.
Do I get the gun?
You do.
I will shoot the pod.
It's empty.
What do you mean it's empty?
She fired off all of her rounds. I hit you.
I will
for
run
3,
to the
and then
diving. I will.
more.
They take 5 minutes to put on, so the water slowly fills up.
You can
Can
put
I
the
go
helmet on
through the
first.
utility? Can I exit through the utility corridor?
Yeah, you can exit through the utility corridor back into the. You can go back into the facility if you'd like.
So more stress.
More stress. 2 more stress.
Do I need to make a burnout roll?
No, a burnout roll will kill you, like immediately.
Okay, so I go to storage, or was storage blocked?
Storage is blocked. Oh, not the corridor though.
So I go into storage.
Oh, you drop into a room that's
so actually, no, the storage utility corridor is blocked off now because that was part of me creating the pathway.
Oh, you locked it up.
All right,
so
I'm
utility corridor specifically.
So I would have to. Oh no, number 2 airlock is open. I just have to cycle the airlock.
You can get back to the main area, but you also can't unlock yourself because I have the key that you need to be able to do that.
So you can't to unlock the doors and the
like I locked down everything behind us.
Yeah, you can get
which
from
my character doesn't know this. No. So I'm yanking on the utility thing, then I run into the infirmary. I'm looking for a diving suit, scuba mask, everything.
Get a rebreather.
And then I get to 4 and I'm trapped.
You can't get to 4.
Yeah, 4 is actually locked. You can get to 8. And from there, because it's locked down and the scientist has the key, you can't open any of those doors. There's also another person in here with you. Oh no, yeah, she's fine. But now these eggs that were in 6 have hatched and they're kind of hanging out. So a lot of good stuff going on. Tony, you ascend. That room fills with water and kills Burke in a last a brave last stand, and you start to ascend. You get topside. You turn in your data, and about 2 hours after you get there, you start to convulse as your blood kind of tries to turn, and a bunch of strike teams come and contain you. And you have,
Even with the vaccine?
yeah, even with the vaccine, because you were bit by a different type of hybrid.
Dang it.
And that it had evolved to be vaccine resistant.
Dang it.
Dr. Nightingale.
Why is it such an anti-vax game? That's what I want to know.
It's not anti-vax, it's anti-science.
Anti-science, okay.
Dr. Nightingale is able to stay alive down in this locked down facility. After cycling through, the pod bay drains again. So you're able to get back into 3. There's just no ascent pod. All of the creatures are dead in there. Burke is dead. But you're able to get in there and get one of these deep sea diving suits. But you'd be hard pressed to get that up 20,000 feet. But you could try.
Jeff, your audio's off.
Oh, I heard that.
I heard it when you tapped the mic, but then it sounds like a loose cable, maybe. Yep.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
So is there any way to rig extra oxygen onto the suit? Like make a bandolier of bottles or whatever?
Over the time that you're down there, you figure out how to get into the other parts of the station. You can get into the diving pool where there's a whole bunch of like diving gear, and this is where Astoria was trying to like rig the sub to be able to ascend. Do you have any engineering or repair skills?
God no.
Go ahead and make a repair roll to see if you are able to rig something up without just exploding.
I got a 1. Can I use stress to increase that?
If you use any more, your stress is what, at like 23?
24.
24. If you take any more stress, you will die. Because you're at 1 health, right?
So describe how I die.
Yeah, you spend a good amount of time scurrying around trying to avoid these creatures in these like ducts, and you're able to like get one of these deep sea diving suits on, and you're able to walk outside into the moon pool and like make your way around, and you think you got it figured out. You're just gonna like figure out how to strap these tanks to you, and then if you can like use them as propulsion to go up. You just got to hold your breath and hope that the pressure doesn't kill you. And it works for about 5,000 feet. And then your head just feels terrible as the pressure starts to squeeze your brain out your ears. And then your entire body just implodes. No survivors. GG, y'all.
I'm glad I got most of the science out. That's a win in my
It's
in Faultweiler's category.
The scientist is one of my favorites. Never a dull moment with a scientist. Thanks for playing, y'all.
Oh my
That
gosh, it was so much
amazing.
fun. Let's do our reaction roll. So reaction roll is a live stream within a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game that we just played and talk to them about our experience playing that game. Today we are playing The Company, which is a corporate survival horror game that evokes things like aliens, annihilation, Half-Life, any moment where there's a corporation involved in saying, hey, how do we push humanity to the next level while simultaneously ignoring everything that makes us human. The Company is a place that you can play around with. We've got the designer here with us today, Logan Dean. Logan, tell people who you are, what you do, but also tell us a little bit more about The Company.
My name is Logan Dean. I am a writer and designer. I live in Chicago. I made The Company as kind of a love letter to the stuff you mentioned, industrial horror, what it's like. I was working a pretty awful corporate job while I was writing it too. So, there's some parts of reality in there, but it's a very heavily anti-capitalism game. It's a satirical game based off like what it's like to work in corporate culture, and how it feels to like be throwing your life away for a company that just doesn't care. And I think it's a very universal theme, especially now that we're all realizing that we're all just kind of cogs in these large corporate structures. Like, what does that mean? Like, how do you deal with that? And so, I hope that those themes come across. They're really important to me as a storyteller, and it's kind of like something I haven't seen outside of science fiction and science horror. And so, like, that stuff's real. So that's where that whole idea came from, and Chernobyl, because it's horrifying.
Awesome. If you're watching right now, or even if you're watching later, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. If you're watching live, I'll bring them up on stream. But if you're watching later, I'll just let Logan know you're asking them, and I'll either answer them or tag him in on them. So with that said, let's hear from our other player. Jeff, tell us who you are, what you do, but also tell us what it was like to play the company.
Yeah, I'm Jeff. I have a Twitter at Tacoma. I do an actual play podcast set in my own RPG called Shattered Worlds RPG. I have another actual play called The War for the Tower that is set in the world of Stephen King's Dark Tower, and a couple of interview guest type shows. I love this game so much. You're great DM, GM, whatever you call yourself in this game.
Management? Are you guys
The game manager.
Game manager. Very good. And I just had such a wonderful time. I was channeling Paul Reiser.
Yes.
There at the end.
It was also named after the Paul Reiser character, Burke.
I'm like, I got 2 keys and some blood. This is good enough. I'm out of here.
Nice.
And Burke had to go crazy with his dang handgun.
The soldier always does. It's interesting you say that. We just did an expansion called the Conflict Resolution Guidelines, which has a bunch of adventures in it, but also has a whole new character class called the Executive. That is Burke. Like, even the artwork is Burke from Aliens. So, like, that was one class that was supposed to be in the original game, but I just couldn't make it fit because it breaks the rules of the game. Like, the secrets, you're actively working against the other players to undermine them. So it's definitely like an advanced player class. But you kind of did it anyway, so that was fun.
Yeah. I actually didn't see your message to the Discord until right as we were in up here.
Yeah, so my headcanon was that I worked for some other company or whatever. And
I knew you were acting squirrely, but I was like, I don't know what Jeff is doing, but I implicitly know it's not whatever we're doing.
I mean, there's no wrong way to play, right? Like,
yeah, no.
I hope I didn't hurt your feelings by going rogue there at the end.
I love it.
No, I've run this adventure so many times, and like anytime there's a new wrinkle, like it's the standoff in the pod bay has become a classic trope of this adventure. It's happened multiple times where some people want to go and some people want to stay, and some people just want to get the mission done with. And like, it's always fun to each piece is very static, but it's always fun to see how people react to the different stuff.
Won't somebody please think about the science? Jeff, did you have any questions about the game for Logan?
How many times have you played it? Have you played it at game stores, cons, Zoom calls like this?
Yeah, I've run this adventure easy 20-25 times. I ran it originally at Gen Con 2019 as a mothership module. And that's when I met Alex Mitchell, who's the artist on the line, and we started kind of figuring out how to make it its own standalone thing. Because I'm very interested in contemporary horror, and a lot of sci-fi horror tends to be space or cyberpunk stuff. And I really wanted it to be contemporary. So we started tinkering around with that, and then kind of naturally came along. I've gotten to run the game mostly virtual since we released last summer during COVID. So a lot of my playtesting was done before that, but most of it's been virtual. I have had the opportunity to play one time as a player, and I played with TBK role playing. They did a Resident Evil stream using the company. They did a 3-part, and I was in the first part as
Awesome.
the executive that ruined everything for everyone and died horribly. And it was a great time.
TBK
That's
is both
wonderful.
our best friends and our greatest enemies here at Plus
yeah.
One EXP, and so
they're fun people up there.
Yeah.
But they've been really, really great. Helped me out, and anytime I get to throw this up on a stream, I jump at it because it's fun to play. It's quick to learn. Like, there's a lot to it with a little small package, so that's fun.
Well, let's talk about that transition from like mothership module to original system, right? Because you can even see like some of the roots in there, but there's some very distinctive differences between mothership and the company, which I mean, like, obviously I love, and I love mothership, but I also love. There's so many things that are so super simple about it, but also counterintuitive to a lot of other games. Company was easy to pick up and play also too. But tell me a little bit more about that journey, like how y'all made those decisions, and what were some of the things you were like, we really love this part of it. How are we going to do it here? And what were some pieces where you're like, hey, we want to take a totally new approach?
Yeah, I mean, Mothership's great. Sean and all the people over there are just so nice and supportive, and they've got such a great community. Something I knew I wanted to get away from was percentiles and math. I wanted to get rid of the math because I do a lot of organized play, and I used to run organized play for Cards Against Humanity and like Chaosium and all of these companies. And I know like the quicker you can get to playing, the more enjoyment people are going to have. So if you can get math out of a system, that's a whole thing you don't have to explain. The other thing I wanted to ditch was any sort of sanity mechanic, because I think it's kind of gauche, and I think we're kind of past that in a cultural space. But almost everything, the skeleton stuff for Mothership's all there. I pared down skills to like basic stuff. I made, the skill rules it's a pool instead of a percentile number. So like it's just adding more, and then there's a role for burnout. I changed our burnout a little bit to be a cumulative rather than the static that the Mothership burnout scales at. And I think they're changing that for the new edition too.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. If you're not following the new Mothership, I think I have a quick link for it. I'm going to go grab it in a second if I'm not drop it into chat, because you should be, because it's going to be great to see the new box set come out. We're super excited to play sometime next month with Alan, and we're going to have Sean on for an interview. But I'll go grab that real quick so I can drop it in the chat for anybody who's doing it, and I'll add it to the description later. But yeah, phenomenal system. I think sanity things are always a big question. We see it a lot. I think we see it pop up as a question mark a lot more in fantasy systems. Like, people ask that question a little bit more readily. And I think in a lot of science fiction or horror genre, we don't. I like stress as kind of a catch-all for a lot of the panic elements of that. We also did see Jeff's character die due to stress. Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Oh yeah. So there's a stress mechanic where the highest level stress you can get is 20. And at that point, anytime you take stress, you're taking damage. Just because the stress is actually having a physical effect on you. In the CRGs, the new expansion, I actually made an expanded stress table where if you roll 4 stress over 20, you on an odd you just die, and on an even something really weird happens. Usually good, like it's a cool thing, like you accidentally find a grenade, or like you boost your health weirdly, like just these weird things. It's like walking the edge of like, I'm either gonna die or something really weird and cool is gonna happen. Because I think after we got the main book out, I wanted to kind of foster the goofier stuff, the weird outlandish stuff that could happen in these types of situations. And when you're dealing with a company that's got a bunch of high science all around, yeah, it's not weird that you'd accidentally find a grenade in like a lunchbox. Yeah, absolutely. So and I think that's something, like, again, that Mothership does really well, is like foster these like goofy types of like non sequiturs with this kind of grim dark type of setting.
I just, on the sanity thing, as a person with mental health struggles over the years, I appreciate your decision to to move away from just the word, because it really is a holdover from Lovecraft.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea, but it's not something that really happens in real life that much, not this quickly.
No, and I mean, as a horror person, as like you know, I'm pretty versed in Lovecraft stuff, and like it's something I actively try to move away from, because I think there's ways to evoke those same types of, you know, primordial horror, like it's scared, fear of the unknown, without evoking that, because there's a certain connotation with that like I'm trying to move away from, and like it's kind of shorthand, you know, and so getting rid of stuff like sanity, getting rid of stuff like, you know, like trying to make it more industrial based instead of like, you know, elder gods or whatever. Like you can do horror in the same vein without relying on the same tropes.
Yeah. And the concept of Lovecraftian pieces even affecting sanity happens for an entirely different reasons, even though, like, as Corey says, the chat sent Lovecraft into the sun. The reason that even works is because it's like, oh, it's this indescribable thing that is literally bending your mind, and that's not what the average horror game is actually presenting you with. It is actually not the fear of the indescribable. It's like, here's the thing in front of you that is terrifying you, and so it's a very different conceptual reality also too.
And I ran COC, I ran Call of Cthulhu for years for Chaosium, for organized play, and like, you know, I have a large fondness for the game. It's just not the game I wanted to make.
Yeah. Well, it already exists.
Yeah.
Too, so,
it already exists. Like, why would I make that? And it's a boiling down of like, what are the key parts of these games that really work, and what can I distill them down to, and then teach really quick so that people are playing as fast as we can get them to play.
Well, it's really funny because like I was like, I really like the idea that my character is kind of aware that hasn't been confronted with a lot of this stuff, but is like aware that this happens. But there's no real mechanical way to do that, except for the way that I played them. Totally ended up with my stress was 6 at the end of the game, as opposed to Jeff's head exploding due to the amount of stress.
It's really, that's where the dice rolls, that's where the job mechanics come in. Because they present natural choke points for relationships. Like, people want to do certain things and other people have other things they want to do. And so these present natural conflicts occurring that the GM doesn't even have to plan or facilitate. They just happen interpersonally, which was an accident in the design that actually kind of rules. Like, it was a weird byproduct I didn't see happening. And then as we were running at the table, people would naturally develop these conflicts with each other because of their jobs. And so like I leaned into that and made it like, you get awarded for doing your job. Like, that's one of the only ways to add dice and stuff. So like, it became a really interesting way to have the players facilitate the story in a way that like works naturally and would work in that situation.
Right. No, and that was the thing. Like, I was like, I put points in sneak, so I'm going to sneak around and be a sneaky person, but also not a spy or anything, but also like cared about the science. Like, and it was like I said, it was really fun to actually get in the role and let it play. Well, the other two things I was looking at were like technician and engineer. There were moments where I was like, oh man, that bulkhead's sealed. I wish I was an engineer right now. I wish that I could hack things. I wish I was a technician 3 times. So,
that, more than any other RPG I've played, that feeling of I wish I had this, I wish I had done this, is so palpable. Maybe because my character died, but I think more because there's so much at stake. Like, my character was like, we need to quarantine this whole place. I'm the only one who's not hurt. I gotta get out of here. And now I'm thinking, oh, I could have just broke the pod and kept us all there, you know, like, I think that's a feature that's kind of fun, like, and every player will be able to like, I almost feel like your website should have testimonials. Like, I wish I'd locked that door.
And it's always after everyone, like, I think we've only had a few where we have like no casualties. But there's always people that are like, oh, I should have done this. I wish I would have been this character. But that's great because it makes people visit the system again and it makes it memorable. and it makes them want to play again.
Yeah, I would go back into this exact same adventure, like with a different character, and have just as much fun.
Like I said, I've run it like 20, 25 times. I've never had the exact same run.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's really a testament to the adventure, but also like the system as well. Which is why like that's the adventure I included, because it's quick, it fits in the pages, and like it's easy to facilitate and have a good time over and over and over again. Like I never get tired of running this adventure, which is really something to say, because like I wrote it and like I still like playing it.
Yeah, we got to 7 of the 9 keyed locations. There's a lot of things we didn't go outside, like which there's absolutely.
Oh, you didn't go outside. You eventually got to that moon pool. There's some stuff in there.
We We looked inside of 6.
Yeah,
close the door and back out.
6 is really the key of all of the bad stuff happening.
Right.
So it's really like you get the most stress there. It becomes like and then depending on who goes in, like the medic's gonna want to save people. Like,
so again, I wish I would have, if I had been Tony's character, I could have just sat in a room and done science and not got all that stress.
Yeah,
I mean, usually what happens is a tech posts up with the security cameras, and then like keeps an eye on everybody.
Right.
And that's usually where the party ends up splitting. Scientists are always the accident. Like I said, they're always the accidental antagonists of the game. They always kind of like, they're like, oh, well, this is interesting, we should explore this more, which is always, in a horror movie, exactly what you want to do. But making a character class that's essentially like the exposition, like the story, like let's move the story forward, it's really cool. And it takes a lot off of, this is a really easy game to GM, because there's not a ton other than like, you go to this place, you go to this place, here's what's here, and then you take stress, But like even the GM combat works differently, because it has like NPCs and variables, which is what we call monsters, have a different stat set. They have a stat set of 3, and anything they do is just represented by those 3 stats. So their stats can change as they take damage or as they stress out. So there's like, I've gotten into some pretty big fights with that puppeteer in the living quarters. Where like there's people just falling all over the place and they're just flailing about. And then if you get hit by any creature, you get infected.
Yeah.
So and the infection lasts 2 hours. So there's all these things going on. Every time you enter a new place, I roll a d10, and if the 10 comes up in the sector you're on, one of those creatures you saw in 2 appears. So like there's all these different things happening at all times. But this thing runs clean in 2 hours, like easy.
Yeah, it went smooth, easy. Like, we were at 2 hours and 31 minutes right now, which is follow-up conversation, rules explanation, and even just the delayed intro time. Like it's an easy smooth game. So you released the original one in Zine Quest 2, I believe.
Zine Quest
2020. Which is where I backed it. It was one of my backs that year. Which there were a lot, but not percentage-wise, not anywhere near all of them. Was very excited about the premise of it. Really loved the way it looked. Had it come in, hadn't had a chance to play. Y'all have released another set of zines that you talked about, also the adventures in the executive, or is that coming up?
So it's called the Conflict Resolution Guidelines. It has some expanded play, an extra career, 6 full missions that actually can work as a campaign as well. It is released digitally on the Megacorp itch, where all my games are. And I just finished the zines. I actually just finished these ones yesterday. So I hand make all of these. I print them, like I bind them, I cut them, like I do them all by hand. So they take a little while. But those are done. Those are going to go out to Kickstarter backers in the next couple weeks here. Which is very exciting to be done with that. And then we're doing another little thing soon that'll be in the ether. And then it's exciting to see the line kind of grow. I'm going to take a little break from it for a little while. I have one more book planned in what I want to write for it. And it's kind of deep in the lore, but it's a mega dungeon set in the 60s. So awesome.
We can go to other time periods.
Yeah. Well, the company, like there's the second book, the management manual, kind of details the history of this fictional company, and it goes back a few hundred years. So it's an interesting. I also write like a fake Twitter account as the company that is just like satire. Me picking. I I make a lot of fun of Jeff Bezos.
I was gonna say, you just miss it, just
heck yeah.
Amazon riffs the entire time.
Jeff
Yeah.
Venus Rocket Bezos.
So like there's a lot of lore. Anything I say on the Twitter is canon in the game universe. So like this summer we had a horrible incursion by the Blood Computer at a couple of fulfillment centers, and that didn't go well.
You retweeted this stream, so this is all canon. This all happened.
It's all canon.
No, I love that. It's got some like solid Monarch vibes from the Godzilla,
Yeah,
movies.
oh man, yeah, that world building is really great. And we have a jam going on right now on itch, so people are contributing and all that stuff. That's really cool. Because we just released a third-party publishing license, so that's kind of to celebrate that and to see what people can come up with. I really want.
Wait a minute. Wait, third-party publishing license? Like I could write a module?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as like there's a whole bit in the files. If you want to write a module, you just have to say it's not an official company module. We own the company, and then you can write whatever you want for commercial game. I don't care, just as long as you give us a credit for writing the original game. It's all good.
Yep,
that's so cool.
Yeah, no, I love seeing that kind of stuff happen. I can't wait to go check out what people have been up to and doing in that area. So super excited about it. Would love to have you come back sometime. We can throw an executive into the mix and watch things get real crazy.
That one's fun to play. It's real weird.
Just like I'm already signing up to be the scumbag. I'll let you know right now.
Oh, yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And so I've dropped the link. Links are in the description also too. But if people want to follow you specifically, Logan, keep up to date on all the great things that you've got going on, what's the best place for them to do that?
It's the letter L__Dean on Twitter. So like that's me at LDean. That's kind of it. The Megacorp itch is where the games go, and we'll have updates on the jam and upcoming stuff, and then everything's on at the company RPG on Twitter as well. That's where we write our weird flash fiction. There's another account. It's a fake Sparrow account called WB_Sparrow. It's tweets from the Sparrow in the WB headquarters office. They're having a weird time. They've had some odd stuff going on over there since the return to office fiasco that happened last week. It's fine. Fumigation's done. Everybody will be okay. But we're excited to get back to the office.
So good. Perfect. We have a couple streams coming up that I don't have graphics prepped for yet. Sometimes next weekend, I don't know exactly when. We're going to be playing another Planet X OSR system. It's a Weird West. There's living food, there's monsters, there's Wild West themes galore. Levi's going to come on and run that for us. We'll let you know the date and time for that ASAP. We also have coming up on Wednesday, we're playing with Jammy. We're going to be playing Cozy Town, even though our haunt launches like in 2 days. We're going to play their Animal Crossing inspired RPG. I think we're going to DLC some spooky stuff into that also too, but imagine Animal Crossing vibes. It's a GM-less game. Super excited to play with Jammy and Serena and a few other folks for that. So come on back for any of those. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is become a content champion. You can support us over at kofi.com/+1exp. There's links down below if you're watching on Twitch, or it's on the screen right now in the links in the description as well. Also, you can go find all of our games on itch at I think it's tonyplus1.itch.io. There are links to that also down below as well. With that said, we don't have a good way that we close out our actual play, so every single time we just wave at the screen until I take us offline. Thanks everybody for playing. I'll just keep it going forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.